Hey, good morning, everybody. It is 8:15 a.m. on Sunday, September 20th, 2020. Beautiful South San Francisco, California. I decided off the cuff this morning I'm going to do another omelet, and I didn't think I had stuff for an omelet, but I have some of those sandwiches that I got panhandling over the last couple of days, and I thought, why don't I just pull them apart and use that as the ingredients in an omelet? And I have a little bit of corn here from the other night, from dinner the other night. And we're just going to see how it goes. I don't know. I just feel like doing a video. I mean, it's amazing because I've been doing a lot of omelets. I didn't intend to do that. You never know what's going to happen, right, with me. So anyway, hope everybody's well. I hope I come up with something to talk about this morning. Fart people, you know what? Let me talk about that. That's very, very interesting because I gotta tell you, never did I ever imagine in my wildest dreams that there was a whole fart subculture on YouTube. Okay, what happened is, I don't know if I mentioned this already. Sometimes I can't tell the difference between stuff I've just thought about or stuff I've already decided to mention it in a video. You know what I mean? So. But I had no idea. I started getting all these comments about, I mentioned on Facebook, I mentioned that, the average amount of views, a couple days ago, the average amount of views my videos had gotten was 15 or 20 views per video. But the video where I farted in it had gotten 575 views. And I kind of made this comment. I was like, you people disgust me. But so I started taking a look at, these fart comments. The only comments I've gotten on my videos, except from my mom, all right, are people that have been like, oh, that was great. You let one rip. Oh, that's great. You should do a fart compilation video. All this kind of stuff. And I'm just like, I laugh and stuff like that. And I was like, ah, ha, ha. But then it started to mount up. And I'm like, this is getting a little, I'm not, hey, if you come listening and smelling to farts and shit, I have a good friend of mine, honestly, no, I'm not kidding, who gets off on farts. And we've had sex, and she wanted me to fart on her dick. And I have no problem doing that. I mean, it's not, I'm sure a lot of people do, and that's no problem. You know what I mean? And the cool thing is honestly, she's very open about being into farts and everything like that. And I'll tell you, I'm not into farts, but I was attracted to the fact that that she was so okay with that. You know what I mean? That she was just so matter of fact. Because a lot of people that would be into farts, being into foot fetish, wouldn't be. You know what I mean? They'd have to kind of find out that you were into it first before they kind of let out that they were into it. And she didn't do that. And I'm so impressed by that. You know what I mean? I was really kind of that really kind of, as far as her personality goes, really turned me on to her personality. And anyway, though, so I had no problem, in essence, with people being into farts and doing that. But I kind of I would prefer that not to be the focus of, you know what I mean? Whatever gets people in the door, I'm all for that. But at the same time, I don't want to, I don't want that to be the, I'm trying to do talk and see if I can do the one-handed thing like a real chef. And, Anyway, I don't want that to sort of be the focus of videos that I'm doing on other very important topics where farting is kind of funny, but it's totally incidental to the point, right? So, I started looking at I started looking at the profiles of these fart commenters, and holy motherfucking shit, this is a whole goddamn thing. I had no idea. I had no clue what I was looking at until, wow, this is a whole serious subculture of people and an activity. It's whoa. I mean, I knew that there were people, like I said, because of my friend who's into farts sexually, I knew that there was fart fetishists and stuff like that, but I had no idea how far they took it. Holy shit. Anyway, so, I mean, we're all into different stuff. I don't think that we should, make people feel bad about, because we don't really control, we have no control over. In fact, let's put it this way. All right, you know, everybody knows nowadays like sexual orientation. Okay, that they would consider that to be a choice. I mean, I'm sure there are some people that still think that people just can go gay, or decide to go gay or whatever. But most people don't. I mean, I would say culturally, the people that do think that are in the minority. And as for you who I'm talking to right now, watching this, I mean, think about your own sexuality. Did you make a decision at some point, to go, I think this makes the most sense, I'm going to go with this. And unless you're gay, living in a very, very, homophobic area, and you were like, you know what, I made a decision, I'm just going to marry her, and I think we'll just do that. That makes the most sense. Outside of something like that, but that's still, the point still stands, though, because I'm asking about your sexuality, not what you decided to do about it. Your sexuality, obviously, if you were able to do that, you still know that you're a big homo. So that's the point. And things about our sexuality, okay? Like, for example, like what turns us on. We don't, that's another thing we don't make any decision about. Interestingly enough, I think this was a couple years ago, I was online, and I'm very unusual for San Francisco. Okay, in San Francisco, white boys are very unpopular in the gay scene. Like, it is not. In fact, they are not revered whatsoever. You know what I mean? It's almost like it's almost like there was a political decision made to be like, you know what? White people have had it. Had the limelight too long. Like, they're done here. In San Francisco. But no, I'm sure that's not what it is. But for some reason, San Francisco has a culture that it does, and even though sometimes I'm at odds with this culture, I love San Francisco. It's my home. The Bay Area is my home, and all the people in it, even the misfits, I don't even, you know what I mean? It's like, it's weird. It's a very strange thing. Like, it's like my drug addict and homeless friends. Like, I'm so different from them, and yet I'm so much a part of them. It's kind of the same sort of thing. And anyway, so the white boys are very, very popular in the San Francisco gay scene. Like, it's not like, you know what I mean, almost everywhere else. It's different. And, so my taste, though, in men, I like white boys. I do, which makes me super unpopular in San Francisco's gay scene. You know what I mean? Because, let me tell you something. Okay, in addition to not being into white boys, which is like the cool thing in San Francisco, in the gay scene there, you definitely don't want to be white and into white boys, because that is really not going to look good in San Francisco. And guess what? Here I am. Shit. Yeah. Now, that said, though, I mean, there are black guys I find attractive, and there are Latin guys I find attractive, and Asian guys that I find attractive. But none of those things that I make a decision over. I mean, honestly, I never thought I'm gonna you know what, let's go with this one. You just kind of like what you like. You know what I mean? It's not a, I mean, I'm not saying that in fact, there are people, I gotta tell you, I'm not gonna touch that until I do another video on another subject, because before I delve into that. But, there are people who, have you ever met some racist people that are well, it comes out that they've been fucking, they've been doing some shit that isn't in line with what they apparently are saying, that the people up there have no respect for or whatever. However, they're out trying having sex with people that they're a white supremacist, and yet they are into fucking black chicks or something like that, some shit like that. That other than that, and that goes to make my point right there, is that sexually, whatever our sexual drives are, you know what I mean? They are a thing all their own that have nothing to do with what we intellectually decide. Because otherwise, those people, those white supremacists would never in a million years be violating their friggin' racist whatever, a dogma to go get off. But when they do, it's only the Holy Spirit does comedy like that, though. I gotta tell you, right? Seriously, I think part of the reason that happens so much, it's like, you know what I mean? Because it doesn't, it's not infrequent. It is not infrequent. If you look around, you'll see a fair amount of people with their either racist or like just militant fringe beliefs that with their principles getting violated sexually in their personal private sexual life. I mean, it happens all the time, okay? So anyway, so yeah, I'm into white boys. I'm mostly, but like that doesn't mean that like, I mean, okay, let me even get more specific about, you know, down and dirty with Justin, okay? You know, most times, like, I don't consider, like, most, like, Latin guys, like, that I'm into, I don't consider that, I don't even draw a distinction, really, because they kind of, like, there's a certain type of guy, and, like, all the guys that I'm sort of into kind of, like, fit within that. I would say, like, for example, like, except, like, black guys, it's different. No, those are, like, more, like, for example, like, Latin guys that I like, that I'm really into, I kind of see as no different than white guys, whereas, like, black guys that I'm into, I you know, I'm attracted to, but I do see them as, like, not white, obviously. You know what I mean? For whatever purposes that is, I don't know, you know. But there are a fair amount of black guys that I'm into, and a fair amount of, like, you know, guys of non-white guys that I'm into. But, you know, but at the end of the day, I'm still glad, like, I'm really, really happy Coulter is going to be my husband. Let's put it that way. Like, really, I couldn't be more pleased. Couldn't be more pleased. Anyway, though, so San Francisco is kind of like that, though. It's kind of fun, you know. Anyway, so the point being, I think, well, yeah, what I was getting to is about maybe like a year ago, year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I don't know, a while back, I was online, and I get hit on by this. I was on Adam for Adam, which is like a gay hookup site. You go on there and, you know, get on and get off, I think is the motto of that site. Get on and get off. I got hit on by this rather heavy-set Filipino dude who was younger than me. I think he was like in his early 20s or something like that. And I don't know if I didn't respond or if I did respond politely and say like, hey, no, thank you, which is good because I used to be a little bitch and like, I used to be a little bitch about stuff where, you know, where I could have said nothing. I went the extra mile in the wrong direction. Okay, but like, no, this time I know that like this is well within time. I either said nothing or I declined politely, and he gave me a little little lecture back. Okay, about exactly like assuming that the reason you know what I mean, that like as if I was making a choice, not recognizing, and that's very, very common in San Francisco. You know, rejecting guys online if you're gay. I mean, I don't know if this happens in the straight world or whatnot, but basically like rejections of guys online, of people online, often gets framed in a political context. Okay, you know what I mean? For example, like if you're turning down, like you can't just be not like if I'm like I just happen not to like black guys, I'm not attracted to black guys, that gets called racism all the time in the gay scene. All the time in San Francisco. I don't know about other places. I wouldn't be surprised if in other like metropolitan areas it is also that way. New York City, I can imagine there's a lot of that shit going on. But you know, it must be understood, people. You have to understand that is not racism whatsoever. It has nothing whatever to do with racism. You know, and it's funny because if you stop these guys, they're like, that's racism, that's racism, that's racism. Well then, you know what I mean? Why would they think for a minute that they didn't have control over the fact that they're attracted to other men, but they do have control over what kind of other men that they're attracted to? That doesn't make any fucking sense at all. And if they do think it makes sense, well, I mean, I'm sorry, it still doesn't make any sense because they don't have total control over that. I mean, yes, we can modify our, you know what I mean? Within some reason, we can sort of hone our tastes, but that only goes so far. You can't reprogram everything, I'm telling you. And if you think that you can, I'm here to tell you that all that stuff that you honed and changed was in your scope of like the changeable. Okay, that doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, try to go outside of that as much as you can. I guarantee you'll hit a wall at some point. You know what I mean? And if you don't think so, well then, you know what? Then then include gender. You know what I mean? If you're not bisexual, see if you can include women in your scope of sexual practice. All right, and if you come to be able to do that, well, I would say, well, then you are already inherently bisexual anyway. But at some point you're going to hit a wall. At some point you're going to hit a wall because, well, try it. I mean, you don't have to believe me. Try it and find out for yourself. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not. So, anyway, though, but, so we're doing this omelet, y'all. We're going to throw in the ingredients of the sandwich, which is kind of good, I never would have thought of this. It just kind of occurred to me today. Holy Spirit actually gave me the idea because I opened the fridge and Spirit was like, grab that sandwich, we're going to make an omelet out of that. It's like, boom, boom. I was like, oh shit, okay, yeah, I wouldn't have thought of that. That's a great idea. So that's, now I know though, and I'm going to do it all, I love that kind of stuff. I love because I'm like everybody. I need help to sometimes see things in a new light, So to me, sometimes, I'm very much it's a sandwich. Like, why, I'm not thinking rip that apart, repurpose the ingredients, Put this over here. Coffee. Jabba time. So I decided though, a lot of things have been done. A lot of things have been done on YouTube. But what hasn't, I'm thinking about what I've been doing, like I could do videos somewhat similar to Adam Neely and Rick Beato, two of my favorite guys on music theory, because music is even though it's funny because that's not even a part of my online presence at all. It's so ironic because, well, you'll see. I'm going to start to get more of my stuff out there. But, they already do that so well, and I don't think that I would have anything to really add of substance to, that would be unique. And so, I've been praying about this, and the Spirit's been speaking, and I'll tell you right now, sexuality, sex, is something that definitely needs to be talked about. It's still an issue. And I seem to do it so well. So, I've already started. So, I think that is honestly, you're going to prepare to see a lot more of my videos dealing with issues around sex. Of all, touching all areas and all types of people, because it is something that really, it is a woefully understaffed department in terms of psychology and popular psychology and understanding. We need to get comfortable with a lot of stuff around sex, yeah. So, okay, let's go ahead and I'm going to cut this onion up here. And I'm happy to air my dirty laundry, and to tell you, it feels so good. That Facebook post the other day, where I was posting that conversation with my friend, I wasn't planning that, but, God, I was so delighted with the neatness and appropriate, timely timeliness of it, in relation to my video on sexual impropriety. It was perfect. It was exactly the point I was trying to make, and I was doing it with something from my own life, and I'm just tickled pink by that, because we really, it's true. Think about it. That if you haven't seen it, go check it out on my Facebook page or on my Facebook newsfeed or whatever it's called page, facebook.com/JTCSF. Is that, when you look at that, if that were a celebrity that had that chat, that can fuck someone up. And it's totally benign. It's chats that, honestly, all of us, I'm trying to allow, there's some people that don't, I'm going to say all of us have had chats like that, dude. Come on. You know, I mean, some people are, you know. One time when I worked at Walgreens, this is a great story on the same subject. It was fantastic. Because you know, if you don't know me, you probably already have the sense that you know you don't have to be embarrassed about shit around me, and it's true. And you know, that's something that I work to cultivate that persona. I want people to feel comfortable around me no matter what, even if it's stuff that like I'm a little uncomfortable with. I'm not going to make. It's my goal to not make you uncomfortable about you. You know what I mean? If I have a problem with some part of you, that, you know what I mean? I'm kind of a therapist. You know, I'm sure therapists like have to deal with that because, you know what I mean? You're going to have homophobic therapists out there, but they need, if they're a good therapist, that's not going to come through, and they're still going to, you know what I mean, work with you professionally in a way like where that is not going to get in the way, theoretically at least. You know, being human's tough, right? So the thing is that, but it's doable. It's doable by a smart person that is absolutely kind of like in the right headspace. But anyway, though, so I was working at Walgreens back in like 2015 or so, like, yeah, 2015, 2014, when I was back on the East Coast. And let me make sure this is at the right. Was it there? Yeah, it had to. Yeah, it was there because you know. I have memories in so many different Walgreens. I'm like, was that the right? Yeah, and they all look the same inside. You know, I'm trying to picture this interaction I had at the photo counter, and I'm like, was this the photo counter in Worcester on Lincoln Street? Yes, and it was. Oh God, no. Yeah, it was. I'm like, oh shit. Okay, so anyway, though, yeah, because I was working. Yes, it was because I was not only. I definitely was not a customer there. I was helping this person. I remember me being behind the counter working. Okay, so yeah. It was this old man, you know, some old guy that you would never think, probably has dick pics on his phone. Okay? Some guy that wasn't, I wouldn't say he came off like Wilford Brimley type grandpa, but he was sort of like, you know, a guy that probably is a grandpa, but he doesn't come off as grandpa like Wilford Brimley does. He's just like an older man that probably is a grandpa that had, you know what I mean, that had kids, and now his kids have kids, probably, you know, something like that. And you know, he went there to he came to the photo counter to you know, he needed help, like as people often do, to you know, to kind of interface with the Walgreens photo equipment to print a picture. And you know, on the way, scrolling through to get to the picture, he needed the decent picture of like his family picture or whatever. He like, and you could tell he was a little bit surprised, but he managed it pretty well. He didn't kind of miss a beat a little bit. You know what I mean? He didn't like or anything like. But you know that he didn't. Obviously, he wasn't trying to show his dick off to me. So like clearly, you know, it's just something that slipped his mind, and I could see that. You know, that's one of my worst nightmares because honestly, like. My camera roll on my iPad, okay, there's a joke about this out there that my ex Dustin used to have. It said, you know, when I show you a picture on my iPhone, don't just look at it, don't touch, don't swipe left, don't swipe right, because I don't know what you're going to see. And honestly, like, one of my goals, I know this is kind of silly, but one of my goals that I'm going to get to right soon is to have a family camera roll. Honestly, I know that sounds stupid. It's not a judgment against the pictures that I do have. In fact, I'll tell you why and why it is that I want to PG it and what you'll find in my camera roll right now. I had no problem admitting that. But I do want to have a camera roll where you can swipe left and swipe right again. You know what I mean? And again, that is no judgment against what I have there now. It's just that I don't want to do that anymore. That's all. I did up until recently watch a lot of porn. I have gotten used to it. You know, I haven't like jerked off to like just what's in my imagination in a very long time. I've only recently gotten used to doing that, and it's really cool. It's good, you know, because I'll tell you, when you get addicted to porn, it's just God, you could attack that from so many different areas. But you know, you get. you know, a lot of comedians have talked about, you know, of course, like, it's weird, like, kind of like, vicariously talking about porn addiction and stuff like that, but you know it's them. They're talking about themselves. They're talking about me. They're talking about you, and they're talking about them. And the thing is that you know, it's just you never get, like, for example, I have tons of porn on my. Actually, I don't anymore. I have it in the cloud now, actually, because I did delete it all from my iPad. And the reason most of it I don't watch, you know, and it accumulates. You know why? Is because, like, it's old, and you constantly need something new. You know what I mean? There are a few items of porn that I have consistently jerked off to for a very long period of time. That's true. But, like, most of the time, not. You know? And the thing is, if you see where I'm going with this, it's not just, like, you need more and more porn. It's just that, like, something unhealthy is happening there to the sexual app, you know what I mean? To the, you know, and it's just not good. I mean, for example, if you think about it, you know, today we're bombarded by media, and we're used to the idea. I mean, for example, like, me talking about, I mean, let's face it, other than, like, a little bit, like, oh, you know, in substance, though, so many people jerk off to porn. In fact, I mean, let's face it, it's an industry that is thriving, not because people do not pay attention to it, right? You know, today it's taken for granted that people jerk off, that men jerk off to porn. Like, it's just a normal thing. It's probably, it may even be the norm, I imagine, you know, by people that are old enough to consume it, right? But that doesn't make it necessarily the most healthy choice. I mean, like, let's face it, like, McDonald's is fucking ubiquitous too, and fast food's all over the place, but is it the best thing for us? Like, no. Is porn something we should eliminate? No. Can we eliminate it? No. Okay? So, like, but the thing is, it's like either moderation or, like, maybe time in life. Because honestly, like, I think for me, like, that's what porn is. You know, I'd like to kind of get away from it, you know? Because I'd like to develop the areas of my brain that have kind of, like, you know, gotten, what's that in your muscles? Atrophy a little bit. There's a part of my, like, you know, a part of my brain that's kind of, like, emotionally atrophied, you know? Like, and it's been getting stronger now, like, since you know, I mean, I know it sounds like whatever, but, like, I'm kind of amazed that I can, like, jerk off, like, with just a thought in my own mind again. I haven't done that in so long. I mean, and that's good. You know what I mean? That's kind of like the way it should sort of be, or at least that the capacity for that should at least be there, and not like, oh God, I can't masturbate unless I've got porn. So anyway, so on my iPad, I've had a lot of porn on there, you know, but it's all in the cloud now, you know. I've deleted it from there, but I'm gonna go, when I have time. It's mostly because I honestly haven't made time for it, because I have a lot of shit, you know what I mean. Because there are important things right next to pornography. I have to go through all of it piece by piece by piece, and it's like, you know, see, because it's not all obvious what's what by the thumbnail. So I just haven't made the time to do it. Other than that, like, you know, I'm really kind of trying to get away from that. You know, I really want a healthy sexuality and a healthy sex life, and in a way of kind of perceiving and thinking about sex and going about it, you know? Because I've had an unhealthy one for too fucking long. And like many people that do, I think, out there, part of the reason I'm talking about this and getting these videos, because I think a lot of people that also have the same sort of sexual experience that I do think that anything else would be not a turn on, or just like not what they, you know what I mean, not what they want. It'd be like, for example, like when you're turned on by one thing, you know, somebody telling you like, hey, how about something different? You're like, you know what I mean? Almost like if you're turned on by women and someone's like, hey, all right, how about a guy instead? It's like, you don't want to do that. You know what I mean, right? So I'm here to kind of say, though, that what the stuff I'm talking about, you know, it's not that. There is something different, and it can be just, the idea is to be more fulfilled, not less, or not just enough, okay? What I'm saying in substance is that I want to stop jerking off to porn because I feel like my sex life will be enhanced, improved. In fact, I already see that it is going in that direction. So it's not just like it's not about living. Remember, like the old Nutrisystem food. I don't know. I heard it's really good now, but it used to be back in the day when it first came out. It was like cardboard. You know what I mean? And it was like so. Like what I'm suggesting is not like getting used to living on that old Nutrisystem food forever so you can stay thin. Like that's not the point of what I'm getting at, and that's not what that's not even a consideration on the table. So, omelets and masturbation. And well, hell, since we're on that subject, let's talk about kittens. I haven't gotten a kitten yet. I'm still looking forward to getting a kitten. Thank God masturbation doesn't kill kittens, because I don't want to keep killing cats around here. I love cats. I'm a big cat person. Holy shit. Holy shit. I just had a Pat moment there. I don't know. My friend Pat kind of reminded me of him for I don't know why, so I just did a little Pat expression in the middle of that. All right. By the way, too, today what's happening at some point is I'm doing the shepherd's pie video. That should be pretty cool because I have my shepherd's pie recipe ready to go that I found. I forgot that I had emailed it to myself back in 2011 and saved it in my email so I'd have it. So I found it the other day and I'm like, oh yeah, right on. Exactly the way I used to make it. So happy about that. It's amazing. Corona. I just want to give a shout out to Larry David. If Larry David's watching this, hi Larry, how you doing? I asked about your coffee cup in my Facebook post because I drink out of a large ass coffee cup like this, and so I do have some smaller ones. And I do want to use them. I'm like, when am I going to do that though? I'm always, I always want the. But here's the thing: if you do drink out of a smaller coffee cup like this, I think I know the reason. You're going to tell me why you do, because it's the reason I'm considering doing it again myself, and that is that it gets cold very quickly, and it's like I find myself constantly going back to cold coffee, and it's like, this right here, you got to refill it more, but you're going to be drinking hot coffee more, and that is a good reason to do this. All right. Me and Julio down by the schoolyard. A little plug for Paul Simon right there. I've been listening to that song. I listened to it last night, this morning. It's a good song. Paul Simon, man, wow. Oh, so talented. He's the bomb. Very, very talented. He's had a string of hits that, like, I mean, think about it. Most of us would be lucky if we wrote one hit song. Paul Simon is like a number of major fucking like songs that, like, in the American recording recording industry, in popular music, have eternal places. Like, that's pretty cool. All right. So. Excuse me. So this is turkey right here. I want to keep these videos kind of short. So we're at 34 minutes, and like, okay, so this should be pretty quick to cook this omelet now that I've done that. Me and Julia Gulia. Anybody remember that, the wedding singer? Julia Gulia. Ah. Something happened with Coulter last night that I realized, and it really it made me not happy. Like not mad, but like sad. In that, I don't know. So, But I have faith in the Lord. I really do. I know that if God promises something, like God, come on. I mean, is there a better prom? I mean, come on, right? Like that. So I move forward with certainty, and I know that Coulter and Coulter is going to be my husband. We're going to be married. I know that for a fact. You know, no matter what signs may be present right now that seem to indicate otherwise, with God's assurance, as I have gotten, that's where I'm at. I don't care if I look nuts to people. I don't care if people, you know what I mean? That's how, like, absolutely confident I am. Absolutely, without a doubt. Okay? And you should be too. I'm telling you right now. And I don't need you to be. And I think, honestly, if you want to know the truth, I think God is going to use this event specifically for the purpose of making that point clear to other people that are watching. That, like, dude, you should not doubt God because he's the shit. Or, you know, it could be the opposite, and I'm ready for that too. And guess what? I'm still going with God because God is fucking the shit. Like, God has never done me wrong. God will always do me right. And if God has a reason for humiliating me, embarrassing me, like by like having me ultimately not marry Coulter, it's for a good fucking reason, even if I don't know what it is, and I know that. And God doesn't need to explain to me shit. I know that he knows, or you know, I use the masculine gender for God a lot, but like I want you to know that I don't attach any real significance to that. It's more of a matter of convenience. I mean, I could say she or it. You know what I mean? It doesn't really matter because God is in and through everything and doesn't really have a gender, you know, unless you want God to have a gender. You know what I mean? God will tell you, okay, yeah, I am a woman, and yeah, I am, like whatever you feel comfortable with. You know what I mean? If you want to see a taco that shits ice cream, okay, God will do that for you too. I mean, the point is though, is that well, save your money. All right, here we go. The point is that nobody loves you more than God does. Your creator, who understands you and literally intimately knows every fucking hair on your head. And that is not some trite expression. That was a dramatic pause there because I wanted that to sink in. That is very, very true. Like, please understand. Please want to understand. You know, that's the thing. You don't have to. I was going to say, like, shit. Why are you scrambling me? All right. Save your money. Here we go. I wish we had more lettuce, you know. But the thing is, I won't buy lettuce because I'm very, very, the only time I'll buy lettuce is if it's not like a head of lettuce and it's like something less I can buy in a container because I won't use it all and it will go bad. I mean, think about it, if you're buying a head of lettuce, like how much lettuce are you consistently using in order to be able to not throw that shit out? That's pretty, I mean, you know, maybe you can find, you know, you have to find ways to work lettuce into stuff, obviously. And that might not be so hard now that I'm thinking about it. I don't know. I mean, you know, other than we're not going to count garnish on a plate that you're going to throw out here, by the way. I mean, just like, you know, ultimately, I suppose, though, if it's that or throw it out after it gets moldy in the refrigerator, well, then fucking garnish counts too, doesn't it? So, I mean, yeah, all right. But ideally, you know, let's consume it, right? Okay. Queen of Corona. Or what about a burrito? I'm gonna maybe do a breakfast burrito. How about that? Breakfast burrito. Yeah. All right. Okay. This is kind of exciting. So I'm going to turn this over here so you can all see. Where are you from, Damien? The seventh layer of hell. Oh, that's exciting. My mother was from Alabama. South Park line. Mr. Garrison and Damien. That's from, that's an oldie, golden oldie. So, ooh. Yeah, I haven't gotten the cat yet. I want to get the cat. You know, something tells me that we'll get the cat when it's time to get the cat. You know, and that's not right now or tomorrow. That's what I do know so far. Okay, let's do. Excuse-moi. I'm very excited about doing a breakfast burrito like this. I don't know why, but I am. All right. Burritos are great. God, I couldn't do without burritos. I always feel bad about saying because I'm a huge fan of, as everybody knows that I'm a big philo-Semite. I'm a big fan of Jewish culture. But I'm also a big fan of Mexican culture too, And I always feel like people are gonna making fun of me. They're like, oh yeah, cause when I always say that when I say I love burritos, and I always feel like it sounds like a fucking just a lame ass thing to say. I don't know, it's kind of funny. But no, I do love very enthusiastic about Mexicans. Because California would not be California without Mexicans, man. I mean, they are, you know what I mean? I'm just so proud of the California culture and everything that Mexican heritage and culture brings to California. Because I mean, they're as much a part of it as anyone, as much a part of it as the white people that stole it in the first place. So we're all here together, and it's a wonderful thing. This is a beautiful state we live in here. Oh, you know what? We need some oil. There we go. Some oil in there. We got a nice, it's going to be a nice burrito going on here. Woo. Why are you heating up I have no idea why I'm putting that turkey in there. It just seems like a good idea, so I'm doing it, all right? So I'm going to also put these onions in. And I'm going to do the eggs separately. I'm not going to do those together with this at all. Because, I mean, I guess I could, I suppose. But let me let this cook first, okay? And you'll see how it'll all come together, babies. My subscribers. I don't subscribe to violence. Violins on television. Does anyone remember? Is that Gilda Radner? I think is that Violins on television. Gilda Radner, man. Wow. Great. You know what I want to learn more about? Who I don't know. Name I've heard over the years, but I haven't taken the time to really kind of get familiar with their work. Is Ernie Kovacs. I do know that he died in a car accident in L.A. I can tell you that. I read that the other night. I also read that Ernie didn't like to pay his taxes and left a big tax bill when he died. Okay, so we're going to pour this in. You like onions? Onions like us? We need a Corona. This is going to be nice. A good one. All right. And then here we go. We're going to put this in. Well, yeah. The eggs. And we're gonna scramble like we usually do. Like we do a scrambled egg. Oh, I didn't put any water in there. Holy motherfucking shit. Wait a minute. All right. Don't know. Have no idea. I just, you know, it seemed to make sense. All right. Ooh, steam coming off there. No, this is going to be good, though. It's going to be nice. Me and Julio down by the schoolyard. Woo. Me and Kulo down by the school. Me and that bitch down by the schoolyard. Oh, look at that. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is, I'm a big Tapatio fan. If you are Californian, you know and love Tapatio very well. On the East Coast, though, they have less exciting options for hot sauce on the East Coast. Not surprisingly, right? You know, on the East Coast, they're still eating iceberg lettuce back there. Ugh. Alright, here we go. No, not that there's anything wrong with that. Larry! Alright, hold on. In fact, I should say, iceberg lettuce is lettuce on the East Coast. That's, you know, we have, out here in California, like, we're used to, like, you know, 25 different kinds of lettuce to choose from. No one ever eats iceberg because, honestly, when you have those other lettuces, holy shit. Ooh, it's like having lettuce for the first time. And you'll never go back to iceberg lettuce again. Except as a, you know, as a bowl or something. Alright. So what we're going to do now, one thing I have never learned to do, really, and these aren't real, true burrito-sized, like, tortilla. If you go into a taqueria, or a taqueria, as someone I know once said, you know, it's a bigger tortilla than that. Anyway, the point being that I don't know how to, I don't know how to wrap, I mean, in theory I know how to wrap a burrito, but I've never actually done it. Really satisfactory. But I can tell you right now, I would be able to do a better job with a bigger tortilla than that. That's like barely bigger than a friggin' taco tortilla. Okay. So let me move this over here. I'm going to show you what it looks like here, what we've got.